Who wouldn't want a robot with the physical characteristics of a machine combined with the intelligence and loyalty of a dog? Is it possible to establish a friendly relationship with such an innovative device? And what to do if the authorities decide to use this machine for military purposes?
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
Miles Hill is a young man with a passion for motorcycle racing. The teenager is not only inspired by his love for this sport, but also successfully participates in many races under the supervision of his father. However, his last performance at the competition ends in failure. The chain on his motorcycle breaks, and Miles may miss the race. Annoyed and frustrated that circumstances prevented him from completing the race, the boy watches as the winner, Sam Fontaine, celebrates his stage win. His rival has excellent technical equipment, so Miles and his father approach him asking to borrow a chain for his bike. The guy agrees, but his father, George Fontaine, refuses to provide the repair part, claiming that it is impossible to give the rival a chance to win. Miles and Chuck are deeply upset, realizing that they will not be able to continue participating and are ready to accept the inevitable. However, the girl who accompanied Sam to the competition approaches them and hands them a chain. Sarah Reyes, who lives with the Fontaine family and works as a maid with her mother Joanna. Father and his son quickly repair the bike for the next race, and Miles holds the lead for a long time in front of Sam. The guys compete almost equally, but right before the finish line, Miles manages to beat his rival and win the race. Sam congratulates his opponent and invites him to a party to celebrate the end of the competition. The boy refuses, but his father advises him to go. He believes that friendship in the world of motocross will help his son to establish the right connections. At the same time, an unpleasant incident occurs in the research lab of Crane Systems. The newest robot dog, Axel, escapes from it. A scientist named Andrik is engaged in the development of technology to create artificial fighting dogs, analogs of the most intelligent and loyal animals on Earth. The robotic dog combines the performance and strength of a robot with the abilities of living dogs, the ability to carry large loads, as well as communication and intuitive connection with humans. Andrik orders his subordinate Berman to activate a protocol to find the escaped robot and launch drones to do so. The mechanical beast, meanwhile, is approaching the city. Late in the evening, Miles shows up at Sam's party. He watches the host and his friends having fun setting a car on fire with a flamethrower invented by George Fontaine and recording it on video. This kind of entertainment does not please Miles very much, and he decides to go look around the house. In the garage, he discovers Sam's impressive collection of motorcycles, much to his admiration. At this time, Sarah enters the room and the young people get to know each other better, sharing their stories. At the house, Miles discusses with his father the injustice of not being able to win races due to a lack of money for quality parts. His father reminds him that racing isn't forever, but the kid points out that they can't afford to pay for college tuition either. Meanwhile, the U.S. Military Command, in the person of Captain Alicia Weber, demands Andrik to provide a presentation of the development of a fighting dog, on which significant funding was spent. The scientist withholds information that the robot has escaped and is given 2 days to prepare the presentation. Sam shows up at Miles's place and suggests that he visit his ranch, where the guy can demonstrate his skills on a motorcycle to capture the stunts on video. He explains that in this way the rider will be able to attract the attention of sponsors and become famous. While preparing for the race, Sam's friends added something to the fuel tank of Miles's motorcycle. While performing a stunt, the motorcycle suddenly broke down and the guy got into a serious accident. The racer survived, but his equipment was seriously damaged. Sam and his friends not only filmed the misfortune, but also abandoned Miles in the field, leaving him with a small reserve of fuel. The guy replaced the fuel in the tank, but was unable to start the bike. While he was trying to fix his bike, some strange noises were heard. Miles decided to investigate what was causing them, and between the building blocks he found a robot dog called Axel. Startled, Miles returned to his bike and, after several attempts, was able to start it. As he was trying to leave the scene, he noticed that the dog started chasing him. The robot tried to catch up with the guy and landed unsuccessfully, damaging its body. Miles felt guilty about what happened, so he stopped and turned back to his pursuer. The robot initiated a self-destruct command, but after realizing that the guy was not a threat, it stopped the command. Miles came to Axel's aid, and in doing so saved him. The robot dog thought it could trust the young man and synchronized with his phone, where he sent repair instructions. The racer decided to repair the dog and left him in one of the hangars at the range. The next day, Sam and his friends posted a video of Miles' crash online, which displeased Sarah. The girl demanded that the guys tell her where they had left the young man. Miles continued to restore his new companion, and when he removed one of the front plates, he discovered a built-in weapon underneath. They spent time together playing and competing around the range. Meanwhile, search drones had located the robot. The scientists planned to turn it off, but realized that the robot's interaction with humans could be a great test to check its functions. They decided to tap into the dog's visual sensors and continue monitoring. At the ranch where the test site is located, Sarah arrives. While Miles is sleeping, Axel jumps on the girl's car, which scares her badly. The boy wakes up to the noise and calms the robot down, explaining that Sarah is his friend and should not be attacked. Later, they discuss what to do with the robot animal. Sarah offers to return it to its owners, but Miles points out the bullet-like holes in its body. He believes the creature has been mistreated. The young people continue to socialize, dancing to music played by the robot, and romantic feelings develop between them. In the research lab, scientists monitor what is happening. Berman offers to reward the young ones for their discovery and return their invention to the lab. However, Andrik believes that contact with humans develops the robot at a very fast pace. Before the incident, the company was 6 months behind schedule, but after the contact, it is already 5 years ahead of schedule. The next day, Sarah and Miles load Axel into the back of the girl's car, cover it with a cloth, and leave the training site. They stop at a gas station to refill their fuel tank, and the robot remotely hacks into the gas station and the ATM to help them with their expenses. Meanwhile, Joanna is concerned with her daughter's whereabouts and asks Sam for information. The guy shows her how to get the location on her phone. Together they see where Sarah is located. The girl leads Miles and Axel to an abandoned house where she sometimes spends time and creates graffiti. The robot scrutinizes Sarah's art, after which it presents its own presentation, designed to be shown to the military. The young man realized that Axel was created as a deadly weapon to exterminate humans. The robot hands Miles a biometric key with which it establishes a connection with him. Now, without the young man's presence, the robot's systems become useless. The scientists realize this as well as they continue to monitor the situation. Miles now has complete control over their project. Andrik then suggests taking the boy as well. At this time, Sam arrives at the abandoned house and begins to act aggressively. Miles releases Axel, who is ready to protect his master and the girl. However, the young man orders him to leave Sam alone and he leaves. In the research lab, Andrik is very pleased with the interaction between Miles and Axel, and the fact that the robot dog follows all of the master's commands. Berman objects that the boy could have used the machine to harm another teenager. Sarah is angry at Miles for allowing Axel to attack Sam. She reminds him that she and her mother work for the Fontaine family, and this altercation could have negative consequences on her family. The girl offers to tell one of the grown-ups about their discovery. The couple leaves the robot in the abandoned house and go to Miles' father to tell him what happened. Meanwhile, Sam returns, taking his friends with him to get revenge on the machine. The robot doesn't attack the teenager when it sees him. It remembers that Miles forbade it to do so. At this time, Sam pours a large amount of fuel on the ground and asks his friends to livestream his actions. He lures the robot into a puddle of fuel and pulls out a flamethrower. At this time, Sarah and Miles share all the information with Chuck Hill. The girl agrees that the robot should be returned. At that moment, she notices on her phone that Sam is streaming live from the abandoned house, and Miles and Sarah go to help Axel. In doing so, the boy forgets to bring his biometric key with him. Sam sets the robot on fire, and it burns until its systems shut down. The scientists observing the situation scream, unable to intervene. Sarah and Miles discover the robot completely scorched, but they manage to load it into the machine. Some of the robot's functions still work, and it relays the route to the guy's phone. Chuck Hill is approached by an agent from the government and, showing a gun, begins to interrogate him about his son. The father notices that the young man forgot his biometric key at home. He withholds it from the man and claims that all of Miles' tech devices are stored in the garage. The agent retires to another room, giving Chuck a chance to arm himself with a bow and force the guest to lay down his weapons. Andrick continues to be irritated by the malfunctioning prototype, while at the same time Berman secretly informs Alicia Weber of the emergency via email. Sarah and Miles take the Axel to a 3D printing station where they fabricate parts to rebuild it. The robot issues a notification that its systems are back to normal, and a full reboot will be completed in less than 3 hours. The two lovers embrace and enjoy their mutual understanding. Andrick also receives a message that the robot is active again and orders the agents to retrieve the machine. The young people hide from the unexpected guests, and as the agents prepare to take their car, they begin to resist. Together with Sarah and Miles, they manage to repel the attack. Memories of Sam arise in Axelo's mind, and he heads towards him with the intention of killing him. Sarah and Miles pursue the robot dog on a motorcycle to prevent this, while Sam is having fun with friends at another party. The robot arrives at the venue, causing panic in everyone present. However, Axel pays no attention to other people. His goal is to find Sam. The robot finds the guy and attacks him, while the young man tries to defend himself using a flamethrower. Charges of the device quickly run out, but at this time Sarah and Miles manage to arrive on the scene. The teen tries to stop the robot's actions, but at that moment Axel is attacked by the research company's drones, firing electrical charges at him. In his lab, Andrick monitors the drone attack. Government agents also arrive on the scene and take the robot with them, as well as Sarah and Miles. The head of research demands that the guy hand over the biometric key to him. Miles tries to explain to Andrick that Axel is not just a robot, but a living being that needs care for its survival. The scientist rejects the teenager's opinion and claims that the dog is just a machine. When Miles refuses to hand him the biometric key, Andrick places Sarah in a laser cage. When the girl tries to get out, Axel attacks. Then Sarah grabs the laser and uses it to create a drawing previously seen by the robot on the walls of an abandoned house. Through this, Axel remembers her and Miles, as well as his mission to protect them. He attacks Andrick and Berman, after which they flee. The military soon apprehends them, and Andrick is arrested. Berman has revealed everything about the situation to the government. Sarah decides to leave, and Axel and Miles escape from the military. They are chased as they try to escape through a field, causing the robot and the teenager to fall off a cliff. The dog scans the young man's body and discovers that his arm is broken. The robot tries to help, but Miles orders him to make a run for it. However, Axel is attacked by drones and activates the self-destruct command. Before the explosion, the robot dog looks at Miles with a loving gaze and says goodbye to his friend. Captain Alicia Weber reads the charges against Andrick for posting the keys to a government program online. Sarah and Miles make a joint decision to enroll in an educational institution. Captain Weber claims that the code created by Andrick has begun to exhibit self-repair, and she seeks to learn its ultimate purpose. She orders the scientist to return to work until the program locates its former allies. In the final scene of the movie, the teens are relaxing on the beach, and Sarah gives Miles a letter from his father containing the Axel biometric key. The young man activates the device and a message from the robot arrives on his cell phone, letting the audience know what the creature has survived in the form of software.
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
Where exactly do you think such developments in robots and the latest technologies will lead to? Thank you for your interest in our content. You have become the energy to inspire the authors of the channel. Share your thoughts below the video so we can make it even more entertaining.